Sometimes when we are using masking fluid with our wet media, it can happen that we can't really remove the masking fluid using our fingers or masking fluid eraser because we would smudge some pigment all around the page. It can happen when we are using very thick layer of highly pigmented watercolors such as white nights, or when we are actually using Nia colors as well. And I think this technique could be also helpful if we want to use masking fluid with oil pastels. And now I know how it sounds. The problem of using masking fluid with oil pastels is that we can't remove the masking fluid because we would smudge everything, all the oil pastel work. But I think the solution I have found can be actually beneficial and can allow us to use masking fluid with oil pastels. And this solution is really super simple. It's electric eraser, because we can actually use it to remove the masking fluid without damaging what we have around. And why I was talking about oil pastels? It's because the way I was using Nia colors on this page is a little bit different. I did the first layer with light colors. I activated everything with water as usual, let it dry. But then I went over with all these dark colors, but I didn't really activate it with water. I smudged Nia colors with my finger, just like oil pastels. And that's why I wasn't able to use the masking fluid eraser, because I was actually smudging everything, as you can see here. And I can demonstrate on a piece of paper. If I apply Nia color, I can smudge the Nia colors. Just pretend I just blend it. And now if I want to use an eraser, see how I'm smudging that, and that's not good for pages. This is actually how oil pastels behave. But when I used the electric eraser, you can see that I was able to remove everything without any issues, even on such small areas like here. So I will now show you the process. It's very simple. You can even see on this part that I have some of the Nia colors on top of the masking fluid, and I wouldn't be able to remove this with an eraser or with my finger. This page will be actually a full page color along that will be available on my Patreon, Nekosimi Coloring. So if you want to color along with me, not only this page, but tons of other coloring pages, or if you just want to learn from my coloring tutorials, or if you want to get a new color combo from my personal collection every week, you can check out my Patreon. The link will be in the description box below this video. In this demonstration, I won't be removing all of the masking fluid, but you can see how precise was the work with an electric eraser. It's also very easy, and it doesn't matter which electric eraser you use. This time I was using Derwent electric eraser, but I was also using this one. This is from Amazon. It's the brand Peach. Yeah, this is just smaller. But not to claim that something is amazing and working when I actually didn't try. I want to test it with oil pastels themselves. We already know that this technique works with Nia colors, but can we really use it with oil pastels? That's what we will find out now. I prepared 2 pages, one from the Moonlight Fantasy by Janna Prosvirina, and the second from 30 Days of Cute Witches by Mei Yu. I already removed the masking fluid from this page, but before I will jump into any conclusions, I want to try it again on this page. So let's do it. Let's take the erasers, the electric erasers, and let's remove the masking fluid. Removing the masking fluid from this little picture took me almost 15 minutes, which I think is too much for such a small illustration. Of course, on this bigger picture, it took me much longer. We have much more smaller details, like the hair and the moon. So that was much more hassle than it was on such a simple illustration like this. And I figured that the longer I was practicing this technique, the better and easier the process and result became. I started on this side and you can see that it's still more dirty than the other side. Of course, this part was caused during the application of the oil pastels because I wasn't careful enough and I smudged the oil pastels too much into the illustration. But still, this side is a bit more messier than this one. I figured that the better approach is if I start by the edge and go towards the center. Then when I go from the center to the edge, which I was using on the left side and on the first illustration as well. On this illustration, on this coloring page, you can clearly see that the whole illustration isn't really clean. It was my first time using this technique, and also this illustration has a lot of small edges, the hair, the moon and everything, so that was much harder to clean than this illustration where we have simple edges. Also, it works best if you are not going too much over the masking fluid with oil pastels, because the thicker layer of the oil pastels on top of the masking fluid, then you are more likely to smear the oil pastels on your illustration when you are removing the masking fluid. So, would I recommend to try it? Is it worth even trying and spending time on this technique? I don't know, I'm not really convinced that it is the best technique we can do. Of course, if you really want to use oil pastels and you have detailed illustration like this, it can be helpful, but you will spend really a lot of time on removing the masking fluid and on cleaning the illustration. So I would say it would be maybe better if you just take some blending tool or Q-tip and you will just go carefully around all the edges with oil pastels. Or you can leave the space around the illustration and use colored pencils around the edges. If it comes to more bold and more simple illustration like this, here again, I think that it's much easier to just apply masking tape around the flat edges, and then you either can be really careful with oil pastels around these rounded edges, or you can just fold your masking tape and you can adjust it. You can do smaller pieces and cover the illustration anyway. So for me, this technique is interesting, but not what I would do again. It takes too much time and it's really messy. I think just cleaning my space here will take me half of the day. Alright, now I'm really curious if you ever tried to use masking fluid with oil pastels and what was your result. I hope you learned something new today. Have a meowsome day and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!